Hi, welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Let Matt in, and he's... Oh, here he comes.
All right, I'm here. Sorry I'm late. Got my gear on. I am ready to talk about some movies.
Yeah,
You
wrong
guys want
movie,
to talk
man.
about Ghostbusters, don't you?
What?
You got the right gear in the
But I
back,
got all my indie stuff.
not on.
Sorry to let you down, man.
I'll go change.
Come on.
All right, we've got no choice. Call the Ghostbusters.
Vigo, the scourge of Carpathia, the sorrow of Moldavia, command.
Command me, Lord!
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
All right, welcome, everyone, to our 6th episode of the Hudson Valley Slime Time. My name's Jason. I'm one of your hosts and the marketing director of the Hudson Valley Ghostbusters. I am joined with my confused cinematic fan / co-host, Matt. Hey, Matt.
Yeah, my name is Indiana Jones. My name is Matt. I am the executive director and co-founder of Hudson Valley Ghostbusters. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that raises money for charity in the Hudson Valley area. If you'd like to find a little bit more about what we do, you can visit our website, hvgb.org, and look at who we are, what we do, events we've done, our team members, our gear, our vehicles. Additionally, you can also go back to some of our older episodes, I believe 1, 2, and 3,
Yep.
where we go a little more in-depth into what we do.
That's correct. Please remember to take some time to like and share this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more likes and subscriptions we get help us spread the word about everything we do and the charities we help. Because remember, our main goal here is to help raise money for local charities throughout the Hudson Valley.
Absolutely. Smash that like button or whatever the kids say.
Yep, please like, share, everything. But I also want to thank Steve and Nancy for joining us tonight.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello there.
Great, thanks for being here.
Our pleasure.
Definitely.
Hopefully we're going to have a nice fun-filled show. We're going to plan on getting into a discussion with the original 1984 Ghostbusters movie. So
Awesome.
hopefully you guys can join in that discussion and spread
Hopefully I won't
some...
break anything.
No breaking. Well, I mean, we're Ghostbusters. That's kind of part of the whole
Yeah,
deal.
breaking kind of a thing we do.
Just don't take the linens off the table without taking the glassware off.
Yes, very important.
The flowers were still standing.
Yes, they are.
There you are.
They are indeed.
All right. Well, we've had a pretty successful Pride Month of June. We did several events. One of our events we did was the Monroe Food Truck Festival on June 15th. That was it was a beautiful day, actually. We had nice weather.
Yeah,
Wasn't
that was
too
a beautiful
hot.
one, a lot of fun.
You know,
Good.
a lot of times these outdoor events we get stuck in to get rained on, which happened to a later event. But yeah, no, we raised several $100s for Glisten. It was a good time. Great food there, a lot of great options.
Yeah, I was.
Then on June 22nd, this is where our weather luck started to change. We did the Out Hudson Pride Parade, and we thought we were going to get lucky. We showed up. There was a little bit of drizzle, some light rain. We hit on the vehicles, and then the parade, about 10-15 minutes before the parade was going to start, it looked like it was drying out. And then we all got in our vehicles, lined up and ready to go, and then the skies just opened up. Like literally as soon as the parade started, it just downpoured on us.
Well, not us. You and I were in vehicles. But
Yes, we were in vehicles, so we kind
Corey,
of...
Sean, and Joe got soaked.
It looked like
Yes.
they went swimming.
They were scrambling to quickly throw their packs in the back of your truck so they don't get wet.
Exactly. Electronics and rain don't mix.
No, and with all the work and effort and everything that we put into these things, we don't want them getting ruined.
And
But,
I give those guys credit. They were troopers marching through that whole thing in pouring rain.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
and honestly, there were still a ton of people out watching the parade. No one went away. It was great.
no, it
a lot of
was. It
fun.
was a lot of fun.
That's
There was
great.
a lot of people out in the rain. It actually helped cool people off, I think. So it was, you know, a
Yeah.
little bit
There
of
you
little
go.
welcomes. But yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. Then on June 29th, went up to Lake Luzerne, did the big gay pride picnic. Once again, weather was not on our side. It rained pretty much the whole day, but even with the weather, it was a fun event. Raised some money for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And
Excellent.
it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. We got to have some got some pictures with some drag queens. You know, post them up, and they did a lot of. They were doing all kinds of really cool skits and stuff. It was it was
Those
a
are
lot
some
of
great
fun.
photos you guys took.
So, but yeah, no, that wrapped up June. Like I said, Pride Month. We try to raise money for Pride-related charities. So this year we decided to switch over and raise money for Glisten.
GLSEN is another nonprofit organization, and they work with LGBTQ students to make sure that they can learn and grow in a harassment and bully-free environment. It's a wonderful organization. We really support their mission.
But like I said, so that wrapped up June. July, can't believe it's July already. We don't have a whole lot. We don't have a whole lot going on, but what do we
No,
got, man?
for upcoming events for the month of July, there is only one that is a private event, the HBGB Company Picnic, which will be held at an undisclosed location.
Yes,
We
that's
don't- we
going to be
don't-
a great.
It is
we don't
just
want
for
we don't
team
want
members.
people. Yeah, we don't want people crashing and trying to get our autographs and get the paparazzi running around trying to get.
Yeah, because next thing you know, people are calling us. We're doing mall openings and stuff like that. It makes our life a living hell.
Well, as long as they support our charities, that's okay.
Yeah, that's
You got
true.
a donation.
That's right.
Donation's good.
So that is all we have for the month of July, which I'm not going to complain about because July is a terrible month to be wearing a jumpsuit.
Hmm.
But
Sure.
coming up in August, we have two back-to-back weekends, both Comic-Cons. August 3rd and 4th, we will be at the Mid-Hudson Comic-Con at the MJN Convention Center in Poughkeepsie. There we will be fundraising for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. That is the Hudson Valley and Westchester chapter will be raising for that day.
And if
And the
people
following
are
weekend,
well, if people are curious about the MJN Convention Center, it's what everybody used to call the Mid Hudson Civic Center.
yes, now it is a complicated name that is hard to say.
New sponsor.
So we will call it the MJA Convention Center. But the following weekend, August 10th and 11th, we will be back for Fandom Fest at Proctor's in Schenectady, also raising for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, but we will be raising for their Capital Region chapter that weekend.
Okay.
Great cause.
Yeah, they're one of our longest running and continuous charities that we raise for. We love what they do, helping people when they need help.
Hmm.
We can backtrack for just a moment. We went down for Ghostbusters Day in June.
I
So,
have a big,
40 years.
Yeah, I have a big. Actually, thank you. You reminded me. I have a big note right here in front of me, and
That
I
didn't
wanted
work.
to do. I
I
wanted to
read
do
your
an.
mind.
I wanted to do an update about Ghostbusters Day because Buffalo Ghostbusters released a statement today stating that they raised over $43,000.
Wow.
Wow.
With that line, I could believe it.
It's that. I mean, that's
Line? Yeah.
crazy.
That's
I mean, he said.
incredible.
I think they said something about they raised an additional, well, $12,000 after the fact from leftover mail-in subscription stuff that people bought,
Ah,
but with a grand total of over 43,000. So
that is
that's
awesome.
That's incredible.
It is, yeah. That's a very impressive number.
We strive someday to hopefully get close to that
Always. Always
one
looking
day.
to
We
For
for a
certainly,
one-day
one day.
event.
we certainly have the talent to do that.
All right, so I guess like Nancy said, being the 40th anniversary, we figure what better topic to talk about than the original 1984 Ghostbusters movie. kind of what got everything started here.
Yes, indeed. And I have to mention, too, also the 40th anniversary of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yes, absolutely. I was thinking about that earlier.
Okay, that one I did not know. So
So they share a
Alright.
birthday, or an anniversary rather. So that's cool.
It was competing with Ghostbusters at the box office early summer.
And who could forget the opening scene, which was our library ghost, which we happen to have as our one of our pieces of equipment for our particular group.
Now, the next electronic thing that Steve could probably work on is to have, a rotating body and her go, shh. That.
And Matthew wanted to do that already.
Good. I'm not the only one who thinks of this stuff.
oh, so was that already in the works, and now the cat's out of the bag?
As soon as I get the platform done, which should be shortly, then it'll be
Nice.
mobile.
I did have Eleanor sitting in my workshop for a while I was trying to work out how to get her dress to fit correctly.
Came out nice, really nice. But like I said, as soon as I get that platform set up, it'll be
Looking
good
forward to
go.
that.
She tends to scare people in our house, if we have company, and she's poised right across from the powder room door. So as people come out of the bathroom, it's like, ah!
You need to hook up a motion detector or something, so that way she can scream
There you go.
every time somebody goes by.
I like that.
Well, when I had Eleanor here working on her, when I got done, Tara was in watching TV, so I brought Eleanor into the living room from my workshop, and I turned off the lights, and she's looking at it, and she's like, "Take it away."
All right, so 1984, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and I had to look this up because I had to know.
Okay.
Ghostbusters did beat out Indiana Jones,
Ooh.
1984, but they were both beat out by Beverly Hills Cop.
Ah,
Eddie Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
which actually was one of my little facts that I was going to bring up, how Eddie Murphy was originally set to appear in the film, but he
Again?
dropped out because of
Beverly
him.
Hills Cop.
Yes.
That was a good move for him.
I think it was because the cast we ended up with was perfect.
Magic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
You got all you need to take care of.
People are right now,
Ooh.
sorry.
sure we don't want to do a prop section first?
Well, the props seem to want to do that. but-
I know that they have their own idea of what they want to do. What do you want to talk about Ghostbusters? As if it wasn't for Dan Aykroyd and his plan for the movie, we'd be stuck with Ghostbusters with a big giant gorilla on our back of our car.
True. Very true.
Well, I could just briefly mention again how, my love and how it started this. I'll just keep it short.
Yep, let's make it all about you.
Isn't everything?
Sure, let her,
Okay. All right.
Would you forget?
I'm just taking a minute to give a nice clean break for you to edit.
The dramatic pause.
He's taking in the moment.
So, yeah, we are talking about the 1984 classic comedy movie, Ghostbusters, which obviously was the movie that inspired our group to do what it does, a love of the movie, a group of people who all love the same movie. That was why I was motivated to first create this group almost 7 years ago now, because it's a classic. There is nothing wrong with this movie, and I will fight people on that. It is a nearly perfect film from start
I've
to
seen him
finish.
do it.
Well, I think you guys would agree. I mean, it is one of the greatest comedies ever created.
Oh, I mean, definitely. There's no if it's on TV, there's no turning it off.
Exactly.
It's always a good laugh.
I think it lends itself, to all the children when we're doing parades and they see, Zool the terror dog, or they see Slimer. They know these characters. And so how can little kids know these characters? Because it's the adults like us who keep perpetuating it after 40 years. And I just think that's a blast.
Yeah. 4 decades, it's still going strong.
Exactly.
Yeah, and for a 40-year-old movie, you go back to it, it holds up. It doesn't, sometimes you watch a movie from 40 years ago and you're like, ooh, that's really cringy. Ooh, you know, I mean, not to say that there's not some cringe movies in there. I mean, Venkman can be a little, womanizer. you know,
Not
Yeah,
PC.
some of the things are a little bit dated,
Yeah,
but that's
slightly lecherous.
but that's true with so many films of that age. That there are so many things in it that today it's like, oh no, can't say that. No, oh, they're going to get in trouble. We who grew up with it, have to then explain it to the younger folks. Okay, well, today we can't do that, but unfortunately, a lot of things, were said like that back then. Weren't acceptable back then, but it was kind of the norm.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of, as a teaching moment, saying,
Exactly.
okay, well, times have changed, and then that could lead to other teaching moments, but that's a whole different soapbox, so I'll just get off of that right here.
Well, not even what people say. Even like everybody smokes in this movie. Everybody.
Yes,
Yes.
that's true.
Yeah.
Cigarette hanging off the lip,
Yeah.
When a problem comes across me from work, I will often say, "Call it fate, call it karma."
So many quotable lines.
Yes,
Oh, definitely.
Is it true?
it's yes.
I mean, then we have to thank Dan Aykroyd because he's the one who came up with the whole concept, and it was pretty much based off of his whole family history too, wasn't it? Because his grandfather was a ghost hunter, and
Yeah,
he was
there was
interested.
thoroughly weird stuff in his background. His grandparents, I think, did seances, and they were spirit photographers, and just everything paranormal. He was raised on it, and that's
Wow.
why he came up with this movie.
Yeah, because he came up with the whole script, and then he brought it to.
Ramus.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think
he brought
then
it to Harold
yeah,
Ramis, and then he kind of helped to punch it up a little bit.
right. They
Exactly.
kind of rewrote it and fine tuned it, and then they brought it to Reitman.
Right. But then they had to try. Didn't they try a few different studios as well?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think anyone really wanted to make it, which is often the case for these hit movies.
I understand
Yeah.
also that they kept shooting and they had no idea if they were going to actually be able to make it, so they just kept rolling.
Well, there was a whole big thing with the whole name of Ghostbusters
Yes.
because that was already owned by another division, and they had 3 other names. I think they had
I
in
think
their back
Ghost
pocket, like
Smashers was the prominent one. That's what they were
And
operating under.
Ghost Smashers. There was Ghost Stoppers, and I think there was one more. I can't remember what it was. But-
Yeah, I don't remember the other one, but I know at the end of the movie when everyone's shouting, the crowd is shouting, "Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters!" That's when they figured out that they couldn't reshoot that and they had to buy the name. So that's why we have Ghostbusters instead of Ghost
That's-
Snatchers.
Right.
That's
well,
very good.
I saw one of those shows. I think it was movies we grew up on, something like that. I think it was on like Netflix, and it was a whole episode of Ghostbusters. I can't remember who the guy was, but the guy worked for the other studio that owned the rights to Ghostbusters,
Right.
and
I think that was, well, Filmation made the cartoon.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, and he was part of them, I think, and then somehow he was leaving, and before he left, he was able to get the rights, and then he went to Sony, and that's how they were able to acquire him, was through that guy. I can't
Gotcha.
remember what his name was, but that was pretty interesting.
Kind of makes you wonder how much he made selling the rights to Sony. But then again, it really wasn't. It was still an unknown movie when he sold it to him. So I wonder. I'm very curious if they knew exactly how big it was going to be. It's just one of these things that you kind of ponder. I mean,
I don't know, because I read somewhere too that Bill Murray did not actually make anything on Ghostbusters for the 1st
I've
movie.
read that too.
It said something about that he basically had the studio, instead of an actual salary, that he would be able to make his own movie.
Huh.
And he did. They after Ghostbusters was over, he made the movie, and I wish I should have wrote it down what the name of the movie was, but it turned out to be an absolute flop.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on it too. Yeah, it was a huge flop. Yeah, The Razor's Edge. That was the movie he made. That.
Yeah, that was
a bomb.
his payment for doing Ghostbusters.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I don't think
I
anyone has.
think that's why it's a flop, because I never saw it either.
I've heard the name before, but I don't think it was associated with Bill Murray.
Well, it is a 1984 romance war movie that takes place
Okay,
during World War
sure.
One.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've got so many great characters from it. I mean, Slimer was one. Of course, he wasn't called. He never was called Slimer in the original movie.
He was not. That
True.
didn't come out to the cartoon.
Yep. Yep. No, he was just referred to as like the nasty little spud or
Onion Head.
onion head. Yeah, actually, I think that was like his. Was that his like production name or something like
I
that?
think
like
that was the name they used on set. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was actually based on John Belushi, and they decided to go with took his character from was it Animal House? I
Yeah.
think where he
Yes.
was always eating, and so they kind of did that as like a tribute to him because he was originally supposed to be in the cast also,
Right.
It was.
but then unfortunately he passed away and
Bill Murray got the call.
Yeah.
He answered the call.
Yes,
That was
he
when
did.
Bill
Yes.
Murray
answered
got
the
called in.
answer the call. That'll be another episode.
We're introduced to Slimer when the three of them walk into the dining room. That scene is fantastic. That's really cool having Slimer there. All of a sudden, you see what the proton packs can really, really do, along with the trap, in conjunction, as opposed to the packs upstairs and in the hotel. You could see that they shoot the way they shoot, and the way they react when people are letting the accelerators run. You can actually see the pulse, but down in the dining room, you can actually see how everything works together. How everything was coordinated, and it just came together well. It was a big mix.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was, like I said, it was a. If that was a short film, they would end it at Slimer's capture.
Just capturing Slimer and
Yes.
I mean, if it was made now, that probably would be.
Yes.
Focus on that.
and it was just comedic genius to have the crowd building up outside and waiting to use the ballroom. Are you sure the room's going to be ready? Oh, I promise you the room's going to be
Trash.
I mean that gets me to laugh every single time.
We need to do that once, just one time.
Destroy a ballroom.
Yes.
Matt, send a message to Sam, see if he can arrange something up at Saratoga, and we can maybe
Can we
do
hang a
nice,
chandelier?
hang a chandelier, have a nice elaborate table set up so we can pull the tablecloth from out from underneath it, and hey, I'd
Sure,
pay
he'll
to see
handle
that.
it, no problem.
And actually, one of my favorite Bill Murray lines when that happens, the chandelier falls. He's like, "It's all right. The table broke the fall."
And it's almost nonstop. It doesn't really slow down, keeps going.
And then, of course, when they exit, the famous line, "We came, we saw, kick its ass."
Yeah, and even just like the sly like you don't even really notice it. Like maybe the first time you watch it when Venkman's calling out how much everything's gonna cost. Like Egon's just over there like,
Oh,
this
yeah.
many, putting up fingers to show because he has no idea what to charge. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it as a kid.
And then containment and storage, that'll be an additional $1,000.
Yes.
$4,000? I had no idea it would be that expensive.
And then
Venkman's
from
character.
that scene,
Yes.
go into a classic 1980s montage. Just them busting ghosts, the song playing.
Casey
Yep.
Kasem.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get any more iconic than having Casey Kasem narrating
Yeah, even got a cameo from Larry King.
True.
I actually saw that
And Joe Franklin.
and I had never realized Debbie Gibson there was a scene where you couldn't really see her apparently, but she was in the restaurant when Rick Moranis was banging on the glass to let him in.
Oh, okay.
Apparently she was in there, but she was kind of covered by another person, but I guess she had a pink bow in her hair or something like that.
Have to look for her next time.
We probably
Yeah,
should have asked
so-
her.
Yeah. Well, you didn't know until just now.
That's true. We learned something.
Yeah, 40 years later, and you learn something new. That's
There you go.
That's a
And
sign
It's
of a good
it's
movie.
the gift that keeps giving.
Yes.
And coming back around to what was mentioned before with them, not knowing how they were going to shoot and like what the script was or anything like that. There is a scene in the montage where you see the Ghostbusters running towards camera, and I don't remember, I think it might have been Dan Aykroyd who said it, like they had to cut right after that because there were people behind chasing them because they didn't have a permit to film when they were shooting that.
Oh no.
I think I do remember hearing something about that. Not necessarily that scene, but that like they tried to like just set up like pop up film locations real quick to get something done and then go because
Pull up,
they
jump out of the vehicle, shoot the scene,
Wow.
get back in.
they didn't have the money or funds to keep paying for all the permits and the street closures and all that stuff. It's funny what you find out.
Yes.
That's in New York City. That's hard to do, real hard to do. 'Cause, we were at close by the firehouse, and it was very difficult to find a space to stop and look around, let alone try and pop out and film something.
Yes, more iconic scenes, and it was actually goes back to the whole beginning there with Slimer and stuff. When they're getting ready to get on the elevator, and the one guy sitting there with his coat and his cigar in his mouth, and what are you guys supposed to be? Some sort of cosmonauts?
No, we're
We're
exterminators.
exterminators. Someone saw a cockroach on 13.
One heck of a cockroach.
Yeah. And
Take your head
then
off, man.
he declines the invite to ride up the elevator with him, and then they switch on Egon inside the elevator, and how they all kind of like take like 2 steps away and like
Yes.
cower in the corner, like that's gonna protect them from any.
That's
Yeah,
something else.
I think in this movie, like, Bill Murray has the best one-liners, but for like non-verbal physical comedy, Harold Ramis is the king.
He
Like
ran away
everything
with
he
it.
does without saying a word, like he switches on the pack and then tries to get away from the side to the side of the elevator. That's great. It's a great joke.
Yep. Yeah, and I think I also read somewhere that the majority of Bill Murray's lines were all ad-libbed.
I've read
I
that
have
too.
no doubt.
I
know.
could see that. I definitely could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they
'Cause-
just cobbled together the movie with the best takes.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's that whole scene inside the mayor's office, where he, calls Walter
I'm gonna
Peck.
miss him.
You know what? And there's like a dozen different takes with him calling Peck something completely different each time. It's just like,
Well, they couldn't have asked for a better pack, so to speak, for that particular film. He did a fantastic job.
William Atherton is, the best bad guy around, best jerk around. I can't say bad guy because he's not killing anybody, but just the best jerk. I mean, between Die Hard and all the different other films he's done.
he actually tells a story about how after Ghostbusters came out, and he would be like walking around the towns and cities or whatever, and people would just like curse at him and yell at him. And he even talks about one time a school bus of kids drove by and yelled, "Hey, Dicklas!" It's like,
Yeah. I mean, but that's the mark of a really good actor, like just embodying that character.
yep.
Yes.
I know a lot of people like to, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but I have heard some people try to defend him, saying how he's not really the villain, how he's actually the
Yeah,
the unwritten,
I've heard that
like,
true. Technically, from a legal standpoint, he was correct.
in the
They
beginning.
were operating without a permit.
In the very beginning, yes, he's going there, to on the best interest of this people of New York City to make sure that everything is safe. And once him and Bankman, rub noses the wrong way, then he just, that's where he becomes the villain, because he doesn't continue down the professional path, and he just
Correct.
becomes, that's where he becomes the villain.
He gets mad because he was snubbed and wasn't taken seriously.
He pouts, stomps, and yeah. So I can't see him as a hidden hero or whatever you want to call it. Or,
Get him out of here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send him a nice fruit basket.
Read my mind.
so what else is like one of your guys' favorite scenes in the movie?
Mass hysteria. What else can you say?
Talking about like favorite scenes, the ending from the time they get up to Gozer's temple to the time the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man shows up, to the time they crush the streams, like that, like 10 or 15 minutes, it's just awesome. Like it's
Yes.
it's just constantly moving, and it is a great ending to the movie.
Definitely.
I realized that they actually roasted Stay Puft when the four of them hit him the first time. He actually was a roasted marshmallow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, it's one of those blink and you miss it kind of things, but yeah, you can actually see it got like the roasted toasty skin.
Yes. Well, one thing that I get into is, looking for continuity. And I don't look for it, it just kind of happens. Continuity or continuity errors. But you can also notice, when after Stay Puft is taken care of and everybody's coated in marshmallow, for some reason Bill Murray doesn't have as much on him as everybody else. Sigourney Weaver has like practically nothing. Yeah, so it's just
Well, I
like,
think
hey, wait,
that-
shouldn't there be more?
I think that's either just like a Bill Murray thing, like, no, I don't want that, or it's just like a character thing for Venkman, like he's just that kind of like dumb luck that he got coated with nothing.
I like
Yes.
that.
Yeah. That's. I've always.
He's just so slick, like the marshmallow doesn't even stick to him.
Just, yep, right off.
Yeah, I had always thought that it was like a Bill Murray thing. Like he just like, no, all right, I'll let you put a little glob on me, but I'm not getting coated and stuff like that. But yeah, I can see the whole Venkman character. He's just that sly and was able to, sneak under there behind the wall there to, shield himself from the blast. But
He probably pushed Winston in the way of the marshmallow.
human shield.
I would have loved to have been on set when they delivered all that shaving cream, just to see their faces.
How did they bring it on too? Was it all like one giant,
It's a giant aerosol can.
Tanker.
big tanker full of shaving cream? And
Yeah, I could see that. That would make sense for the distribution.
Just to see their faces, if nothing else. What are you going to do with all that shaving cream? Oh, wait.
you'll know here in a little while. Just wait.
Well, as in, it was a film that was for all ages. Little kids obviously weren't going to get some of the jokes. Let's just say Dan Aykroyd having his dream. Adults certainly got it. Excuse me.
Yeah.
The dream sequence, yes.
Yeah, that was probably the most risque moment in that entire movie. And like you said, I did not really put two and two together what was going on in that scene.
Exactly.
Probably until only a few years ago. like I'm just that oblivious. Like,
Yeah, I think that is probably one of the only two scenes that people maybe complain about. Like that, the ghost encounter in his dream, and then why did Pete Venkman have, what was it, chlorozine or whatever to sedate Dana?
Yes, exactly. He's not that kind of doctor.
I think there have been like theories like, oh, maybe she had it, in her cabinet for something. Yeah, that was never explained, but like, why did he have that?
Well, actually, he did have a PhD in psychology, so technically, he might. So
No, psychology, no. Psychology, you can't prescribe meds. Psychiatry, you can.
okay.
So as a psychologist, he wouldn't have had it either. It was just one of those toys he had with him.
Yeah. Well, didn't he say he had, I had degrees in both parapsychology and psychology?
Right, but again, that's nothing medical.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's one, through modern movie watching eyes, people go like, why did he have that?
Yeah, and where did he carry it? Why did he have it?
Maybe it was hidden in the flowers.
He was a couple of CCs in his jacket pocket, maybe.
Yeah. I like to think that maybe Dana just had, prescription medicine on hand for some other reason, and he just happened to find it.
That sounds logical.
I'd like to think the hero of the movie is not a pervy creep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you start going through the whole movie, right from the very beginning, where he's hitting on the students, trying to get,
He's a hound.
Yeah.
he's kind of a creeper. He's
Oh, yes. Yes.
They did soften his character going forward, though.
Mm-hmm.
He was less creepy. He was just more, I don't know, pathetically charming.
There you go.
He still was kind of a loser, but he was just charming as hell.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Winston is probably my favorite character because I've always kind of more closely related to Winston than any of the other ones. I don't have the whole Ghostbuster knowledge like Matt, like you, Steve. You guys have. I'm here because
you're the everyman.
Ghostbusters in my blood. I'm just here for the.
You never studied.
I'm here for the steady paycheck.
Winston has some of the best lines in the movie too.
That's true.
Although when they get arrested, he's the first one, man. Hey, I only work with these guys. Get me out of here, you know. Like,
And how many sponge cakes did That's a Big Twinkie sell in the 80s?
Oh my gosh.
A
Even
lot.
to this day, we still associate Twinkies with Ghostbusters. I mean, at least
Yes.
as fans do.
And apparently at some retailer, a TJ Maxx, a Christmas tree shop somewhere, there is a Twinkie pan. Someone gave it to us for Christmas one year. The pan is like this big.
I know what you're talking about because I bought that pan. And I made the cake and it was awful.
Have to put the right kind of cake in it. Make it look like a chocodile or something.
That was a failed experiment.
Well, the cake that came with it was not very good.
No.
Winston was definitely my favorite, and just
Winston was supposed to be the common sense guy. He was supposed to, if they were doing something crazy, he would say, fellas, you may not want to do that.
right. Which in later movies, that's kind of what he's, especially in the last movie, that's kind of what he turned into. He tried talking, sense into the guys, like, dude, like we're too old for this.
Yeah, see, I like Ray, the super genius but childlike qualities. Yeah,
Yep,
he
just
picked the
very
thing that couldn't hurt a child, couldn't hurt anybody. Yeah, so that touches the heartstone.
Yep. Just gleeful wonder about everything they come across.
Exactly.
And then, I mean, since we're continuing talking about characters, Egon, just a cold calculating super genius who builds
Yes.
all their gear.
Yeah, I mean, all four of them they blend so well. They work off each other, and they mesh so well, and it was just great casting, great written.
Yeah, I mean, it helps too that Aykroyd and Murray and Ramis worked together for years through the comedy clubs and stuff like that, and had great chemistry already.
Yes.
Because that comes through on the screen.
Well, Murray and Ramis worked on Stripes together before that. So, history, as you said.
One of the biggest things that we haven't brought up, one of the most iconic characters from the movie, the car. I mean, Ecto 1. Like,
They had one?
Yeah,
I mean, me being a car guy and stuff like that. That's one of the most iconic, movie cars in movie history in my mind.
And I think they knew it too, because the intro for that vehicle, like the slow reveal, opening the doors, the song playing, the lights and sirens, it tears out of that firehouse like a superhero coming out of a phone booth.
Yes.
Like,
That's a
they
great
knew what
way
they were
to
doing.
Yep,
That is.
that's a great way
thought about it
to
that way.
describe that.
There was a considerable amount of lights up on the Ecto in Ghostbusters 2. I mean, there was like double the height of what it was in 1.
All right, we'll talk about 2 next episode. This one we're going to stick with 1, but yes. But even the original Ecto 1 from the first movie, that was loaded with lights.
2, that car was originally supposed to look very different. It was originally supposed to be black with purple lights, but they realized they were shooting at night so much that they had to make it a little more bright and colorful.
Yep.
And
I mean, the
think-
black and purple would have been really cool looking, but like you said, they said it wouldn't show up very well on film.
It definitely pops, though. Obviously, someone knew what they were doing. So here we are.
40 years later
40 years
talking
later.
about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Aykroyd had a huge amount of say. Well, I think he was actually very specific. He's the one who came to them and said, "Look, this is the car model, this is the make, the year, everything.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to use." Because he also is he's a pretty renowned car guy too.
Yeah, he knew exactly how he wanted it to look, what car model he wanted to use, what all the equipment was on top, and what it could do. I think he came up for half the names of the stuff that's on the roof rack.
Wouldn't be surprised.
We wouldn't know anything about that.
It's all of us that sit here built ectos of varying degrees.
That is true. And I'd love to get my hands on one of those Miller Meteors someday. I just got to get my lotto numbers to come in.
Yeah,
I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
million other
that's a
people.
tall order, even on a good day. It's a tall order.
Yeah, I think you have better luck of winning the lottery than actually finding one. They're a little hard to come by.
Another character. That the car is just another character in the film. I mean, it's an icon. So
And it's something that everybody recognizes just by looking at it. I mean, that's why it's, like I said, one of, if not the most iconic car from movie history.
Well, one other thing that we forgot to mention.
What's that?
Zool.
Oh, yeah.
So,
We didn't talk
We
about.
didn't
Yeah, we
mention
didn't
Zool
talk
at
about
all.
Terror Dogs, Zool, Vince, Ortho. We didn't talk about Gozer.
Yeah, Gozer.
And
Gozer.
Vince.
Yes, and Vince Glortho. Yeah. Now, all right, now we mentioned it.
Wait a minute, you forgot one.
Oh yeah, Janine.
Oh.
Of course, Janine.
Yeah, how could we have forgotten Janine?
so many characters, so many great stories behind all of them, and each of them have amazing lines.
What some people may or may not know, another unsung character she has probably all of 2 lines is Casey Kasem's wife.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She was in she was at the Rick Moranis character's party.
Oh, okay. I
The
did not
tall
know that.
blonde, and well, maybe if we start dancing, and she's
That was
she's-
Casey
oh.
Kasem's wife?
yes,
I did not know that.
I didn't either.
yeah, she's appeared on Match Game, and I don't know what else she's appeared on except Ghostbusters.
That's good to know. Yeah, because that's that whole scene too. I was reading where Rick Moranis was going around introducing all the his clients and talking about the food and everything like that. That was all one take.
Wow.
Like they just they came in, he introduced everybody and walked around. Like that was all done in one shot, and like he ad-libbed some of the stuff, and like it was just
Moranis is a professional.
yeah.
Yes.
He was perfect for that. Being the key master, getting locked out of his apartment 3 different times.
No, that's good. That's funny.
Physical comedy.
And also another character that could have potentially been played by another actor. John Candy was originally supposed to be that character.
Yes.
Yep, that's true. I
There's
forget.
story.
I think he actually he read the part. I think, but then he felt like he just wasn't a good fit for it. I think was that why he didn't do
I
it.
think too he had different ideas about what the character was supposed to be.
And who did he read for again?
Uh,
For Tully?
Lewis.
For Tully, yeah, from
Yeah.
Rick Moranis' part.
Yeah, no, it was much funnier with Rick Moranis.
Is that
I mean,
why
I'm
he was
sure-
in the video?
I'm sure John Candy would have had an interesting, if it ended up being him. Obviously we never would have known the whole Rick Moranis character, but I'm happy with how it turned out because
Yeah, because such a little guy, being the keymaster, and then the much taller, statuesque, Sigourney Weaver. That just really worked.
Yes.
I don't know if there would have been that kind of chemistry with John
Yeah.
Candy.
There was a great visual punchline.
Yes.
One other quick thing, real quick. Nancy and I had the privilege to meet Ray Parker Jr., and he said when he was writing the theme, the studio gave him 3 days to do it, and he was stuck.
Mm-hmm.
It came to day 3, and the people, the courier that they sent out to pick up the demo was pounding on his door, and he was still trying to write it. He was under his desk. He would not open the door.
Yeah, I do remember hearing stories about him having difficulties writing it because he did not want to use the word Ghostbusters in the song.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't rhyme with anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why he decided, every time you hear it in the song, it's, people yelling it out.
And that is a true story. So
That's cool.
we heard it from him directly. So there's
You
worth
can't-
any-
Yeah, that's
Yes.
no
Yeah.
better source than the.
Yep, can't deny that.
Yeah, he said the guy was pounding on his door for 15, 20 minutes, and he finally finished it. He gave it to him, and that was it. So,
Yeah, that's something else we could talk about too is the music in this movie. I mean, the theme song that everyone knows by Ray Parker Jr., but then even just the score from Elmer Bernstein.
yes.
You hear the first couple of notes of the score and you know immediately what it's from.
Yep.
Yes. They hate
Yeah.
that.
Just those couple
that
little
go
piano
again?
notes. Immediately sets the tone. And then, I was way too young, but it was all the greatest hits of the day. The Alessi brothers.
Yes.
I don't think who else, but that is
Yeah.
a great soundtrack.
Yeah, I was 9 years old when that came out.
I was
Here's the
one.
other,
I was a
here's
wee
the other
lad.
odd thing about the soundtrack is song 3. It's not the same one as the one that was in the film, that on the soundtrack. The actual CD is very different from the one they used in the film, which doesn't make any sense. The one in the film is very difficult to get hold of, and it's the long extended, especially during the whole scene when the ghosts are let loose in the firehouse from the containment unit. That whole sequence, that's not that particular song is not on the original soundtrack. It's something very different. But
It's a completely different song, or just like a
Yes.
different version of it?
A very different version. Very different version. I had a couple of friends who were able to download the one from the movie, and it's a lot longer. It's about 4 or 5 minutes. So,
That's interesting.
it helps to know people.
Yeah.
Steve, you're our people.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's all mine. I'm willing to share.
Thank you. We appreciate that, Nancy. You guys have both been a great addition to our group.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
You guys have been great, with all the different events, Pat, what we were just talking about earlier, the 3 or 4 events per month. I mean, that's fantastic. And
That's cool.
just like the Buffalo guys raising $43,000, I mean, that's a bit impressive. So it's a joint effort from all the different groups, Ghostbuster groups.
Buffalo did have the help from groups, from around the world coming to, help
Exactly.
come together. So if we can get that at, that level and get groups coming to our events, from around the world, maybe we can shoot for this stuff. Someday.
Someday.
At some point, I'd like to take just an inventory of all the equipment we have. Just like for our own group, I'm curious to see what it is. It's got to be a huge list.
We could probably do that at the
Yeah.
picnic.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, yeah, remember at the picnic last year at my house here, we laid out all the packs next to each other on the
Oh,
floor.
that was quite impressive.
And that was
Who's
just
got
like
more now?
packs.
I know.
Who's got the Gozer Temple?
Matt does.
I have the Gozer Temple.
Yeah, let's hope that the picnic gods stick with us, and we have good weather. Because the
Fingers
next
crossed.
contingency plan would have everybody over to our house. Unfortunately, that's like a 2 or 3 hour drive for a lot of the guys, so that would not be
That would not be a good fit.
no.
Yeah, last year it kind of rained on our parade here.
It did.
I know.
But you were wonderful hosts.
Oh, thank you.
And you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I guess-
a lot of toys to show us.
yeah, I'm kind of a hoarder. That's kind of why everybody refers to me as a toy collector,
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's a great segue to our toys.
Yes. So, yes, I guess we'll wrap up our movie discussion, and let's talk about some Steve and Nancy's equipment there they got behind them.
Yeah, well, we have your standard proton pack. This one is the stasis pack based on the video game. Now, Steve does all the builds. Anything electronics, he gets the 3/4 size, the full size packs, makes a 65-pound completely metal slime blower. That's all him. I'm there just to say, okay, where are we going to put it, honey? And we figure out where it goes. But this particular stasis pack, he had upgraded with a purple wand. Well, the rest of the pack doesn't have purple. It has the blue at the top and, the blue lights and the cyclotron. But I'm like, what else can we do to it? So I just accented, just ever so carefully, some purple around the circles on the cyclotron, and these areas at the top. So that way, at least the purple ties in. There's some red on the pack. There's blue on the pack, and purple, red and blue make purple. So it just kind of ties it all together. But
And
that's the extent that I do. But I
what
do
that-
help.
That does
Steve-
illustrate what I love about proton pack builds is how individual they are to the person making them.
Yes. Yep.
Everyone puts
Yeah.
their little personal touches.
Yeah, I think somebody in one of our group chats asked the question, like, all right, which version of the proton pack's your favorite? And I didn't answer, but it's like, I don't have one because I love like our packs, like like you
Yes.
said, the individuality, the the creativity that each individual person comes up with and puts into it. I love each one. And the next one I see is my favorite. Basically.
Exactly. We lucked out with it was the full-size spirit pack, correct?
Yes.
That Steve wanted to make it a little bit more steampunky, and so he put some copper touches to it, and put the little marshmallow babies on there, just one. And that was before Frozen Empire came out. Frozen Empire came out. Oh, they need to use copper to defeat the bad guy.
Copper and brass.
And it was already on his pack.
Done already.
So, he's ahead of the curve there. So that's really
Somebody
great.
from Sony must have been watching and saw, or heard what you had said somewhere along the lines, and that's where they got the idea. So
Yeah, you never
it could
know.
be your claim to fame. They took it from you.
That's right. That's right. One of the other things that Steve has built is Super Slimer, or does it have another name?
Oh, this is the Super Slammer
Super Slimer.
trap.
And so this
One of
was
my
made
favorites.
from what?
Started out life as a canister vac.
Okay, canister vac. And so there's an open interior, and through this window we have a Hallmark Christmas ornament which has all the little marshmallow guys on a sled. We have Azul, we have the cab driver, we have Eleanor Twitty after she transforms into the scary ghost, and Azul Temple in the back there, Gozer Temple in the back.
Nice.
A full light and laser system on top.
So when it opens up, well, you can't see it. Let's see if I can bend it up.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a whole light show going on the ceiling right now.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah,
but-
I remember Steve had that at Mid Hudson Comic Con one day. That was very cool.
That was an eye catcher. People were stopping to take a look in there, look at all the ghosts inside, watch the lights.
Exactly. So I help support them, and I find the things. I think I need some mini marshmallow guys. Oh, look, Hallmark. Here you go, hon. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday.
You're kind of like the
Happy
art
Valentine's
director. Help. Yeah, that's great.
Because they're smaller than the Diamond Select mini puffs.
Mm-hmm.
But they're supposed to be smaller because they're actually inside the unit. So it actually worked out.
So everything
size-
shrinks when it
scaled,
goes in the
yes,
unit.
Scale wise, it worked
Okay.
out much.
So, yeah, I like that. You got a story for it.
Yep.
I'm also a spin doctor, so it's like.
Doctor.
I always love seeing what you got in store there, Steve, because you do have some amazing stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Your mind, the way it comes up with this stuff, just impresses the heck out of me.
Which is why we call him the mad scientist.
Absolutely.
Wait till I finish the tailgate.
Oh,
do you like-
wait till you see at the picnic. Oh, he has some.
I've seen
keeps in
some
store.
pictures of the, how it's coming out so far, but I can't wait to see the finished touch.
Me too. You never know sometimes.
Well, yeah,
You
that's
just
the
never
great thing
know.
about doing these builds. You're like, well, I hope this comes out all right.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it going, it's not going to work. I don't know.
And then you start getting close to the finish line, and you're like, man, I can't wait till this is done because I've been working on this for so long. I really need a break. And then you get to that point, you finish it, and then like within 12 hours, you're like, all right, what's next? What can I build next? And then the
Yes.
process starts all over again.
That's him.
Usually when I build stuff, the first 85% is careful, meticulous build, and the last 15% is chaos, just trying to get it finished before a
Yes.
deadline.
Yep. Yeah, you got an event you're coming to, and you wanted to, show it at that event. So
Exactly.
I know.
But that's actually good if you're give yourself a deadline, because otherwise it'll never get done. It'll never
Yeah.
get done if you give yourself a deadline.
Hence my gigameter. It's-
Just
I
hang
printed
around.
it. I printed it up almost 2 years ago, and it's still sitting in a box in my corner.
Well, see, that's why I brought that box out here.
I know.
But really quick, funny story. We have the laptop sitting up higher so you can get a better view of what's here. And I had put a box underneath it, but I didn't realize it was the gigameter box that I put under the laptop. So I said, that was a gigameter. No, you can't do that. I said, well, it was with the boots,
Yeah,
But
right
apparently
now,
I missed the label on it.
Hiding in plain sight.
I think that's the only one we got in our group, so we got to keep that.
Yeah.
Keep it safe.
Yeah.
That gigameter was a pain in the butt to build. Oh, my.
Well, that's kind of what happened with me. I got, like I said, I got it all printed. I got probably 80 to 90% of the electronics and pieces and parts and everything. And I started putting it together, and then just, I don't know, got scared and tucked it away, and just haven't gotten back to it yet.
That happens.
I'll have to try to force myself to do it this winter. You know, after Saratoga, after our, whatever winter stuff we have, maybe January, December.
There you
Ain't got
go.
much going on. I'll try to do it maybe.
I have a box in my workshop full of theoretical Ghostbusters props.
Theoretical. Okay.
Theoretical. They could be eventually if I ever get around to it.
Oh, you should have saw the guys, because Corey, John, and Joe came over the other day, and we had like our unofficial type Ecto Day, so everybody brought cars and we were working on them, and they're all walking around my garage, and Corey was like, he was ecstatic because he was working on his pack on my workbench, and in the background was just all my tools hanging up there, and he's like, oh, this is where I wanted to have my pictures taken, do a photo shoot with my pack, and this is perfect, So I was like, have at it, go for it. So he's doing that, and they're walking around looking at all my other stuff, because I've got RC cars and everything else in the garage, and they're, and I'm like, oh, we can use this for this and that, I'm like, yeah, trust me, I know a lot of this stuff is here because of that. It could be something in the future. But,
That's right. The picnic. Bring your toys.
I do have an RC. I have a working RC with the trap, the whole deal.
oh yeah.
I haven't brought it out yet. I'm sorry. I just I keep forgetting.
Well, you've
I
only
bought it
got
once.
Well, now
you've only got like 40 or 50 other props that you have to keep constantly thinking about. One's hard to easy to forget.
Yeah, you have that extremely heavy slime blower.
Yes.
Yeah.
It needs its own cart whenever we take it
I
out.
tried it on for 5 minutes. My spine hasn't been the same since.
Well, and he built that. A lot of people have blueprints and some other way to figure it out, but he built it from scratch, just looking at pictures that were on the internet, and so that's why it was so heavy. And
TV
at
fans.
and at the time, hardly anybody was 3D printing, so of course he did it all out of metal.
Almost.
Well, Steve also,
Almost.
he says it quite a bit that he likes his props to be, that grade where it could function if he wants it to.
Exactly.
Authentic.
So I'm sure we can fill the tank with something, honey.
It's probably already rated for 2,500 psi, just the way it is. He's not denying it.
Nope.
I want it to stay together. Once I put it together, I don't want it to fall apart. Keep it together.
That's
Like you dropped the S, so what? That's not gonna hurt
you
it.
dropped it. Oh, you put a hole. You dented the blacktop.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just don't drop it on your foot.
No.
No.
Still feel bad for Peter with his. Did he ever change his V-hook, or is it still plastic?
No,
No, he's never going to change it.
he's
He's
never
never going
gonna
to stubborn about it now.
Yeah, because I've tried.
I gave him a metal one.
Oh, so he has one. See,
Yeah. I gave him one at a Comic-Con like 5 years ago. Because it broke on him that day. I'm like, here. Nope. I'm like, I know you love your 3D printed hook, and I know you're listening, Peter, I'm sorry. But you got to switch to metal, man. You keep breaking them.
it's the way to go. Peer pressure. Do it. Oh my
set 'em up.
goodness.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you're not going to use that V-hook, I want it back.
You'll see it in the mail by Friday.
Oh, and one more thing I know that you guys have that is really cool that no one else has is you have the mounted proton throwers for the top of your Ecto.
I do. Yep. And now with the roof rack permanent, and I have it's the magnetic capability up on top. I can pretty much stick those up there permanently if I wanted to.
Oh yeah. As long as it clears the garage door, we're good.
Oh, that's the other thing. The new speaker system.
Oh.
It's crazy. Absolutely nuts.
For your Ecto?
Yeah.
It rivals yours.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
We had a
boy.
discussion about that.
Here goes that bar again. Just keeps getting moved up higher
Yep.
and higher and higher. I just
Yeah, we're at
installed
Costco one day, and he says, "Oh, look at this!" I went, "Oh, now what?" "Oh, this is much better," because we were running the smaller one at the parades, and
You'd lost it.
you couldn't really hear what was going on. Oh, you're going to hear this.
All right.
Yeah,
I only
I can
have a
see that.
200. I think no. I'm trying to think. Is my speaker 100 or 200 watts? I might have to upgrade to like 6 or 8.
Well, I know the one I use like for parades and stuff is a 150. But I can see myself now arguing with Tara, like, "Come on, honey, Steve and Nancy have a 10,000 watt speaker."
Why can't I? Yeah, no. John's all happy because he brought his van down the other day, and I helped him and I installed the siren and everything for him. Got that all hooked up and
That's a lot of work.
was able to manage to get the speaker mounted right behind the grill,
Oh,
so
cool.
it's pointing
Nice.
right out. And, yeah, it's pretty loud. It was deafening inside my garage. So
Are we going to have a battle of the bands, perhaps, with all these different speakers at the picnic?
well, he did say that he would like to be first in line at the next parade, so he can like blast his siren at all the marchers in front of him.
There you go.
One other piece that's being worked on for me, that this same garage who did a lot of the work with the Fennec system. One of the guys I've known for a long time is actually making a pod to put all the controls in for the lights, the Fennec's power head, everything in one spot on the dash, so it's
Oh, that's
covered.
nice.
You can't see it from the front.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's just basically a shield blocking all of the 3 different units
So-
that are there.
So you can't see anything. It looks like it belongs there. It's almost it's
That's
basically
part of the dash?
That's what it is
Okay.
for the dash. Yeah, he's doing it out of fiberglass. So I'm like, okay, cool. So,
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, the
Crazy.
one I hooked up the switches for Joe on his dash down like to the left of his steering wheel near like where most people's headlights switches.
Ah,
So he's got all those little switches there.
That's where everyone puts them when they start out doing this. And then you get the great big boxes for all the other stuff, and you put everything together in the middle.
that's it.
All right. Well, is there anything else we want to discuss?
Yeah, we just want to make sure that we like, share, and subscribe.
Yes. Tara's
Hydrating so I
definitely.
can get the words
you guys
out.
need to make sure. Like I know, I keep forgetting, and I made it. I made it a note, like you see in our in the outline.
Yep, there we go. I got my notes here. I'm like, yep,
Yeah,
this is gonna be
same.
mine. All right, that is going to wrap up episode 6 of Hudson Valley Slime Time. If you enjoyed listening to us and the things we've talked about, please do like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us by email, podcast@hvgb.org. If you'd like information about booking Hudson Valley Ghostbusters for one of your events in the future, you can contact us through our website, hvgb.org. Plus, you can follow, like, and message us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and the platform formerly known as Twitter. If you are listening to this podcast and are interested in having Ghostbusters at your next event, but you're not in the Hudson Valley area, you can go to the Ghostbusters directory, whoyougonnacall.org, and on there you'll find a nicely organized directory by state to find your local Ghostbusters group.
And if you feel like you need really cool merchandise or apparel to wear at an event, we have amazing stuff on our store at redbubble.com. Just type in HVGB in the search bar and all our merchandise will pop up. We got a lot of great different designs, a lot of different merchandise from shirts, hats, phone cases, pillows, and we've gone over it over and over again. We've got all different kinds of stuff. Go on there, check it out. Portions of all the proceeds will only go to help out local charities in our area. Again, that's what we do. Everything we do here, all this, is to help try to raise money for charity throughout the Hudson Valley. Yeah, so that's going to wrap it up for today. I want to thank Steve and Nancy for joining us.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, you guys were a blast. I know people are going to be like, you guys didn't talk about this or that about the Ghostbusters movie. It's like, look, there's so much to talk about. We can't do a 2-3 hour show because nobody's going to watch that. So
Only
Maybe
2 or
we'll-
3 hours? We could talk about this for days.
Yes.
Maybe in the future we'll revisit it and touch on things we didn't address, but until then,
So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm Matt.
and I'm Jason. Thank you, Steve and Nancy. And remember, have fun, play with slime.
Okay, so I'll see you later, huh? I'll give you a call.